Please be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Auntie Kerry Kenton, representative of the Darug people, to offer the traditional welcome to country. Auntie Kerry. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to introduce the Chancellor of Macquarie University, the Honourable Michael Egan AO. Chancellor.
Well, thank you, Auntie Kerry, for that lovely welcome to country. Well, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and I'm pleased to see that we do have a few tiny tots here today, and we also have some little babies, one down here and one over there and one over there. Now, we like tiny tots at our graduations and we like babies at our graduations, and we don't mind in the least if the tiny tots run around and we don't mind if the babies cry and scream. A university graduation is a celebration, and all celebrations are enhanced by the presence and indeed by the noise that children make. So they're most welcome, and in any event, we know from experience that the louder a baby wails through a graduation, the more likely they are to be back within 25 years to take out their first PhD. So please don't feel that you have to take them outside. Stay where you are. Well, now first let me welcome our graduands. It's my very great privilege to preside at your graduation today. And I hope that today will be a very happy and a memorable occasion for all of you, because you do deserve to take pride, great pride, in your graduation. Completing a degree is never easy. You need an intelligent and inquiring mind. You need determination and perseverance, and you need to make many sacrifices. So congratulations, and whatever you do today, make sure you enjoy the day. Now, you're not going to do that if you're nervous. Some of you look relaxed, but most of you look as though you're about to go into the examination room rather than collect a degree. Now, I am assured that you've all passed your exams, so there's really nothing to worry about. The very worst thing that can happen today is for your trencher to fall off. If that happens, we pick it up and we plonk it back on your head. Although sometimes people trip when they come up here. And that's why we've got all these people here who we pay a fortune just to be here to pick you up if you fall over and send you on your way. So don't worry about a thing, just have a great day. Today I also want to welcome, and especially welcome, those of you who are sitting either on that side of the room or behind our graduands and who are here as their invited guests. Because if you think about it for just a moment or two, you're obviously all done very well too, because the very fact that you're here, the fact that you've been invited by one of our graduands to share one of the great days of their lives is proof positive that you've been very important in their lives and in the successes that we celebrate today. So mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, cousins, sons and daughters, grandmothers and grandfathers, friends, husbands and wives, partners, boyfriends, girlfriends, lovers, or whatever you are, congratulations. And thank you for celebrating this great occasion with us. And I don't want you to think either that observing today's graduation is the end of your role, because I do have another important service for you to perform for our newest graduates, as they will soon become. I want you to make sure that the degrees they receive today are never ever put in a bottom drawer, but are always proudly displayed in a position of prominence. In other words, if our graduands are too self-effacing to proclaim their own success, you make sure that you do it for them. Now, the ceremony that we're about to participate in is one of the world's oldest social rituals. For centuries, graduates have been donning robes just like the ones our graduands are wearing today, and participating in ceremonies just like this one. Indeed, there are some 50 universities in the world which can trace their history back more than 500 years. Now, clearly, Macquarie is not one of those 50. We are, by comparison, very young, only 51 years old. We proudly take our name from Australia's greatest colonial governor, Governor Lachlan Macquarie, a man whose greatness and achievements were never acknowledged by his contemporaries, but only by history. Those of us who went to school in New South Wales were taught that Macquarie was a great builder, but his greatest legacy had nothing to do with bricks and mortar. His greatest legacy was the ethos he established, much to the annoyance of the British authorities, of an egalitarian society, because it was Macquarie's insistence that in this fledgling convict colony, there be no distinction between the free and the freed that was the foundation of the Australian notion of a fair go for all. And that is a legacy that here at Macquarie we will always aim to maintain and honour. After our first 51 years, we now have 100, and in fact more than 167,000 Macquarie graduates living in more than 142 countries. Macquarie is a very modern and outward-looking university. From our beginnings, we have defied the traditional boundaries of academia. We have pioneered and continue to pioneer learning and teaching approaches that challenge conventions and shift thinking. Our students play a major role in their own learning and are empowered to guide what and how they learn. We're also research pioneers. Our framework for the future, world-leading research with world-changing impact, is brought to life by renowned researchers whose bold and innovative solutions to issues of global significance greatly benefit the world we live in. You might not be aware of the fact that it was Macquarie University scientists, in conjunction with CSIRO scientists, who developed Wi-Fi, something that we all use almost every day. So that was developed here by Macquarie people with people from the CSIRO. Not at Harvard University or Oxford University, but here in Australia at Macquarie. And I'm sure you'll agree that's something that we can be rightly proud of. We also have been investing heavily in new facilities. On your way here today, you may have seen our Macquarie University Hospital, which is only a few years old. The hospital forms part of a very exciting medical enterprise, which will become Australia's first fully integrated academic health sciences centre under the leadership of a university. And it really is a first-class hospital. I can give you that assurance from first-hand experience. A couple of years back, I was actually a patient in the hospital for 3 days, and I can assure you the standard of care is just absolutely phenomenal, especially if you're the Chancellor. So I recommend it to you. Other outstanding facilities include the Australian Hearing Hub, which is a world-leading institute in hearing and language sciences, a state-of-the-art media centre, a newly launched simulation hub for teaching and research, and cutting-edge science laboratories. So we're looking forward and we're on the move. Here at Macquarie, we have a very clear and a very straightforward mission, and that mission is to transform people's lives and to improve the lives not just of our own students, but also of people all around the globe by the work and achievements of our graduates and by the fruit of our research. We want Macquarie always to be a leader in teaching and learning and a leader in the accumulation of knowledge and understanding. In other words, an ideal community of scholars. And graduands, in just a few minutes, it will be my very great honour to confer your degrees upon you and welcome you as lifelong members of that community of scholars we proudly call Macquarie University. Now, graduands and ladies and gentlemen, it's our pleasure at today's ceremony to honour, in accordance with the resolution of the University Council, the late Mr. Ray Jackson for a posthumous admission to the degree of Doctor of Letters honoris causa of Macquarie University. I now invite Professor Bruce Doughton, the Vice-Chancellor of Macquarie University, to read the citation. Professor Doughton. Oh, sorry.
Chancellor, the late Mr. Ray Jackson was President of the Indigenous Social Justice Association an extraordinary humanitarian and an indomitable campaigner for the rights of Aboriginal people, as well as refugees in Australia. A Wiradjuri elder, Uncle Ray, as he was known, played a key role in some of the most important social justice initiatives in Australia in the last 30 years. He used every forum available to document and lobby against the deaths of Indigenous people in custody. In 1987, he was among leaders who influenced the government to form a royal commission into Aboriginal deaths in custody. A former trade unionist, Uncle Ray was the founding secretary of the Aboriginal Deaths in Custody Watch Committee. It monitored breaches of the Royal Commission recommendations and tried to prevent further deaths of Aboriginal people. The committee, funded by the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Commission, ATSIC, had a hotline which any Aboriginal person could call to report claims of mistreatment by police. When funding to the committee was cut after ATSIC was closed, Uncle Ray co-founded the Indigenous Social Justice Association with Don Clark. The association campaigned to protect the rights of all people in custody, regardless of their race, religion, or sexuality. Uncle Ray noted recently that since 1980, there had been more than 400 Aboriginal deaths in custody. He lobbied tirelessly to expose the truth about the cause of individual deaths and to get justice for the victims and their families. This included rugby player Eddie Murray, who died in police custody in Wee-Waa Police Station in 1981, and Redfern teenager TJ Hickey, who was fatally impaled on a fence during a police pursuit in 2004. Under Uncle Ray's leadership, the Indigenous Social Justice Association enlarged its scope to include refugees and asylum seekers imprisoned in Australia. He visited refugees in the immigration detention centres, offering them an Indigenous welcome to country and symbolic Aboriginal passports. A member of the stolen generation, Uncle Ray's own family was destroyed by racial policies. 2-year-old Uncle Ray and his 3 siblings were taken from their Aboriginal mother after their father was killed in World War II on the Kokoda Trail. Adopted by a white family, he never learned his original name, nor was he able to track down his biological Aboriginal family. The contribution made by Uncle Ray and the Indigenous Social Justice Association was recognised when they were jointly awarded their prestigious French Human Rights Award by the National Advisory Commission on Human Rights, Commission Nationale Consultative des Droits de l'Homme, in 2013. This fiercely committed advocate for Aboriginal rights was a keynote speaker at international and national seminars held on this campus. Mr. Jackson was one of Australia's leading social justice activists, he continued campaigning until the day of his death in April 2015. Chancellor, it is with the greatest of respect that I present Mr. Ray Jackson for the posthumous award of the degree Doctor of Letters, honoris causa.
In the name of the Council of Macquarie University and by my authority as Chancellor, I admit Mr. Ray Jackson to the degree of Doctor of Letters honoris causa. I now invite Mr. Jackson's granddaughter, Madika Penrith, to the stage to accept the Doctor of Letters honoris causa on behalf of her grandfather. Well, graduates and ladies and gentlemen, Ray Jackson was nominated for this doctorate by Professor Joseph Pugliese, the Research Director in the Department of Media, Music, Communication and Cultural Studies. Professor Pugliese worked with Mr Jackson for many years on diverse social justice projects. I now invite Professor Joseph Pugliese to deliver the occasional address on behalf of Mr Jackson.
Thank you, Chancellor. Before I commence my address, I wish to acknowledge the traditional owners of country, the Darug people, upon which Macquarie University is situated, to thank them for their welcome to country, the generous and warm welcome we received this afternoon from one of our elders, and for offering the possibility for this land to be vested with the great mission of education, specifically with the mission of education, precisely as our Chancellor said, as a transformative practice oriented by the roles of social justice. Education, in other words, for social improvement and social good. Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, Uncle Ray Jackson's family, members of the Indigenous Social Justice Association, members of the university, graduates and guests, we are here today to celebrate and joyously affirm two important events. The conferring of an honorary doctorate, as we've just seen, on the late, great Uncle Ray Jackson, and the conferring of degrees today to today's graduands. As I hope to illustrate in this brief address, both these events are powerfully tied by two crucial factors that bind the importance of education to the realisation of social justice. But before I proceed, I'd like to offer you just a small brief picture of Uncle Ray so you get a sense of the greatness of the man and why he's being honoured here today. I first met Uncle Ray many years ago. Before I met him personally, I knew of his great work, particularly in the area of Aboriginal deaths in custody and his work with the Watch Committee. In the early 2000s, when I first began my career here at Macquarie, he was one of the first speakers that I invited at a conference, an international conference that I titled Unrequited Justice. It was a conference about people and communities in this country who have been at the receiving end of injustice, structural, institutional. And I could think of no better speaker than Uncle Ray, working really at the coalface of trying to achieve social justice for the disenfranchised. And that really began in the year 2000, a working relationship and friendship and mentorship from Uncle Ray. One of the most powerful images I have of Uncle Ray centres on his convening of public meetings, specifically organised to give a platform to the families who were victims of police violence and Aboriginal deaths in custody. Uncle Ray not only set in train practical ways of attempting to achieve justice for these grieving families, importantly, he also sought to give family members public platforms so that they could vent their grief and even their outrage at the gross injustices visited upon their loved ones. In other words, he worked tirelessly to give people a voice who often had no platform from which to speak in the public domain. At such public meetings, Uncle Ray would, with his usual dignity and eloquence, introduce the proceedings and the issues at hand, explain them with clarity, and then step aside and offer the platform to the families who were the surviving members of victims of social injustice. And he would give them the microphone literally to speak and often just to weep as a way of expressing their grief at what had happened to their loved ones. Curious as to where Uncle Ray's passion for social justice had come from, I once asked him to identify for me the shaping influences in his early life. We were in the back of a taxi one night after he'd spoken here at Macquarie with Lex Watton on Lex unjust imprisonment and legal gagging following the brutal police killing of the Aboriginal activist Mulrunji Doomadgee on Palm Island some years ago. In the course of our talk, and it was an unforgettable talk as always with Uncle Ray in the back of a taxi, he mentioned he had read in his teenage years the novels of Charles Dickens and that he was inspired by Charles Dickens' unwavering commitment to revealing the structural and institutional bases of injustice and the devastating effects of this on the lives of the most vulnerable and the disenfranchised. Uncle Ray is a member of the stolen generations, as our Vice-Chancellor remarked, whose life was personally shaped by pain and loss, had the inner strength to turn his own personal trauma into a larger transformative agenda to achieve justice for his own people and others who are also victims of injustice. In the course of the same conversation, Uncle Ray also revealed that, given the opportunity, he would have loved to have pursued a career in academia, as he had a love of scholarship and learning. This conversation is what prompted me to nominate Uncle Ray for this honorary doctorate. He was, as Sivendrini Pereira remarked just last week at an international gathering on Indigenous deaths in custody, truly an organic intellectual, despite the fact, of course, he never had the opportunity to come to university. Uncle Ray never lost sight of what really mattered, the critical goal of realising justice for the wrong, the vulnerable and the disenfranchised. One of the most memorable qualities of Uncle Ray was, in fact, his expansive sense of compassion, even as he was battling the enormous problems of Aboriginal deaths in custody, the shocking rates of Aboriginal imprisonment across Australia's prisons, as statistically the most imprisoned people on this earth. And even as he was battling his own ill health, Uncle Ray found time to publicly condemn the Australian government's brutal treatment of our refugees and asylum seekers. He penned letters of outrage to both Liberal and Labor Prime Ministers, expressing his disgust at the ongoing imprisonment of asylum seekers and refugees in Australia's domestic and offshore immigration prisons. Uncle Ray also staged, under the auspices of the Indigenous Social Justice Association, 2 Aboriginal passport ceremonies that not only worked to assist non-Indigenous Australians to acknowledge Aboriginal sovereignty over this continent and its various Indigenous nations, but it also in order to extend Aboriginal welcome and hospitality to our asylum seekers, including babies and children imprisoned in horrific conditions in our immigration detention prisons. Like all brilliant intellectuals, Uncle Ray was able to draw connections between seemingly disconnected events and thus to produce new ways of seeing the world in the hope of creating social change. Let me return now, as I approach my conclusion, to 2 points of connection that I mentioned at the opening of my address between the conferring of an honorary doctorate to Uncle Ray and this exciting moment in which our graduands in our audience are about to receive formal recognition for all the hard work they've put in completing their degrees. Both events are foundationally enabled by both the individual and institutional affirmation of the importance of knowledge in our society. The university's entire rationale, and Macquarie's in particular, is founded on the production and exchange of knowledge between lecturers and students, between students and their communities. They are all interlinked. Uncle Ray had a passion for knowledge. His own small 1-bedroom flat in the high-rise public housing apartments in Waterloo was crammed to the ceilings with books, files and archives and all the legal cases he was working on. But Uncle Ray never merely stopped at knowledge accumulation. His primary commitment was to deploy the knowledge he acquired to goals of social justice transformation. I've termed this graduation address Education and Social Justice Practice, precisely because it's not enough merely to acquire knowledge, to accumulate it. The key is to deploy it in practice so that it works towards social good. As graduands, you are now standing at an exciting threshold moment. This transitional space, a space that articulates a bridge between the world of formal education, the university, and our larger society. It is, I think, you would agree, a rare type of space, as it's marked by horizons of possibility. Standing at this exciting threshold, our graduates will no doubt be asking themselves the questions: to what career will I commit? What contributions can I make? How will I translate the skills and knowledges I've worked so hard for in the last few years here at Macquarie to the context of my home, my community, my place, my workplace and social environment? Set against these questions, I want to highlight some possible ways of thinking about the relationship about what you have learned here at Macquarie and the larger social world in which you will be living and working. And I want to frame what I'm about to say precisely in the context of the inspirational figure that we are honouring here today. Armed with new knowledges and skills, I want us to think about the possibilities of exercising a transformative role within the varied contexts of our everyday lives, in our workplaces, our communities and our families. As students who have worked to acquire skills in cultural knowledge and education, you are now effectively equipped to stage interventions in situations in which you bear witness to social injustice. Working across all the disciplines that you've situated yourself in and are now getting a degree in, you are literally armed now with languages and knowledges and skills to begin to name and identify those cultural practices that reproduce forms of injustice, such as racial discrimination, and to intervene effectively for social change. And as our Chancellor remarked, I think one of the unique thing about Macquarie University is that it is, as our Chancellor said, its mission is about transformation, transformative education towards social good, towards social justice. And I know our Vice-Chancellor has committed resources and structures in place in this institution in order to materialise this progressive vision for a better society. So, if there is a defining feature of a Macquarie graduate for me, it is precisely this. A Macquarie graduate is at once a local and global citizen invested with the power and the agency to direct their skills and knowledge towards the transformative goals of social justice. I offer you, as 2016 graduates, all my warmest wishes as you embark on your various lives and careers. May they be fulfilling and positively transforming, both for you and your communities. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Professor Pugliese, for a first-class occasional address, a great account of the life of a fine and great man. And Professor Pugliese, I think, has set some challenges for our graduands today, and that is to make sure that you deploy the knowledge and skills that you have acquired for the benefit of your fellow citizens and mankind generally. And as he pointed out, you can do that in many ways, in your workplaces, your homes, in your communities. I think you'd like to join with me once again in thanking Professor Pugliese for a great occasion with us. And it did occur to me, as Professor Pugliese was speaking, that it's not so long ago that Australia had no Indigenous university graduates at all. I was at Sydney University in the mid-60s when Charlie Perkins became the first person of Aboriginal descent to obtain a university degree. Now, I'm pleased to say that these days at Macquarie University, and I think all of the other universities, we have quite a number of Indigenous graduates. I'd like to see more, but it really has been a huge change in my lifetime. Sometimes we're inclined to think that things only get worse over time. Let me assure you, from my experience, things generally get better, but generally not as fast as they should get better. So once again, thank you very much for your occasional address. Well, now graduands, as Chancellor of Macquarie University, we now come to the key part of the ceremony, that is the conferring of degrees. Now, I mentioned to you there's nothing to be worried about, but this is the part of the ceremony that causes me a little bit of anxiety, because I was told by the best legal minds in Australia some years ago that if I conferred a degree on someone who was not eligible to receive it, there was nothing I could do to take it back. So before I confer your degrees on you today, I have to make sure that you're all absolutely entitled to graduate and to satisfy myself of that, I have to ask the Deputy Registrar to give me an ironclad assurance that none of you were ever late in submitting an assignment, that none of you ever skipped a class. Can you give me that guarantee, Jonathan?
Chancellor, I certify that all candidates being presented here today and those who are absent have satisfied the requirements of the Academic Senate for the degrees and diplomas they are to be awarded. Would all candidates for admission to degrees and diplomas please now stand?
Well, graduands, in the name of the Council of Macquarie University and by my authority as Chancellor, I admit each of you present and those who are absent to the degrees and diplomas for which you have qualified. Graduates, congratulations.
Please be seated. Chancellor, the graduates at this ceremony are from the Faculty of Arts. Students and staff in this faculty work together within and across disciplinary boundaries to ask questions about socially complex problems. They identify paths of research, analyse and communicate ideas in creative formats, and reflect upon the skills and knowledge they will need to understand the world in the past and in the present. Students are encouraged to use their skills and their talents to connect with local and global communities. The faculty includes research and study areas in ancient history, anthropology, English, Indigenous Studies, International Studies, law, media, music, communication and cultural studies, modern history, politics and international relations, philosophy, sociology, and security studies and criminology. Chancellor, I now call on Professor Martina Muldering, Executive Dean of the Faculty of Arts, to present the graduates. Professor Muldering.
Chancellor, I present to you the graduates from the Faculty of Arts whom you have admitted to degrees. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts with the Bachelor of Science. Chantal Henrietta Geisler. Caroline K. Pollock. Bronwyn Louise Tees. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Alexander Arnott. Jualine Barcolod. Ellen Claire Barclay. Scott Bergen. Anna Marie Blackie. Helena Bowden. Jacqueline Ruthban, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Jessica Burai. Denise N. Celestino. Ying Chen. Sylvia Sam Yu Cheng. David Shui. Susanna Francesca Colla. Michael Jeffrey James Cook. Josephine Magdalena Costa. Angus Dillon Cotman. Adele Luis da Costa. Leah Janet Elaine DeHaan. Mai Tao Jung. Toya Elder. Kieran Andrew Fairfax. Zhe Jun Fang. Sunny Fong. Catherine Heather Fraser. Patricia Galvin. Ying He. Suchi Hua. Elizabeth Hobart. Lauren Hollingworth. Erica Hushino. Mohammed Bilal Jawahid. Ahmad Juliandi. Rui Vivek Juneja. Emily Claire Steenbeck Kemananda, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Okay, we will come to that in a moment, but for the moment we've got Karen Marie Kelly. Congratulations. Emily Claire Steenbeck Kemananda, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Kendall Dennis King. Namin Koo. Jonathan Lam Shin. Grace Lau Lau. Kyung Ali. Sally Limantoro. Ji Young Tu. Andrew Albert MacDonald. Alice Jane Marr. Gregory Malkoon. Alec Malia. Nicholas Mayfield. Erin Lee MacDonald. Arifuzaman Mohammed. Ashna Dhanraj Mehta. Chayut Naknang Tong. David William Nolan. Alexander Papandoni. Stefano Julian Pepe. Tan Min John Pham. Rachel Lauren Pike. Alan John Rawcliffe. Stephanie Reynolds. Elise Robertson. Beatrice Ross. Stefania Scaramella. Sally Tamsin, Louisa Sherwood. Britta Eliza Simek. Brandon Sugianto. Chisha Soon. Tamara Swinfield. Vanessa Tang. Isabella Tassone. Chanel Tetler. Mari Teramoto. Laura Kate Thomas. Sophie Louise Thompson. Mingyu Wang. Yashu Wei. Lani Rachel Wilson. Ching Wing Vanessa Wong. Rabea Zafrula. Kazrin Zaidi. Yiyue Yang. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of International Studies. Natalie Macquarie. Victoria Jennifer Bell. Madeline Crossland. Noreen Kelly. Jessica Langham. Rachel Elizabeth Larkin. Sarah Levinson. David Andrew Ludwig. Penelope Jane Ma. Anastasia Matsanseva. Joshua Jack Francis Miles. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Social Science. Lachlan Bo Bagus. Elizabeth N. Mackey. Naibeni Nam. I present diplomates awarded the Diploma of Languages. Sarah Mariana Colusi. Stephanie Eve Dura. Betty Pai Chun Kwan. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of International Communication with the Master of International Relations. Aldi Firmancia Rubini. Jiyu Sheng. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Arts. Abigail Joy Baker. Emma Doreen, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Diane Gay Henley. Christine Elizabeth Ireland. Joanne Marie Purcell, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Martin Verish, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Jasmine Marie Wall. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Indigenous Education. Charlie Daya Murdoch. Leanne Payne. Anne Margaret Saunders, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of International Communication. Daniel Cow. Dan Kwa Nguyen. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of International Relations. Jasdeep Singh Chabra. Lyndall Corbett. Christian Antonio Di Paolo. Wadi El Bayaini. Courtney Jane Helga Grin. Dion Lillian Hodgson. Ross James Mackay. Baigalma Punsak. Nicola Jana Redl. Daniel James Rowney. Matthew James Shotko. Elizabeth Marie White. Lucy Amelia Wooding. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Research and the University Medal for English, Ayana Altros, who has been awarded with distinction for a thesis entitled Rape Politics in Adolescent Fiction. Lauren Ellis for a thesis entitled Truth Detectives, the Philosophy of Metaphysical Detective Fiction. Daniel Toby Carrigy for a thesis entitled Gender, Gentry, Petticoats and Propriety, Addison and Steele's construction of the implied female reader in The Spectator. Sean Brian Connor for a thesis entitled The Securitization of Secrecy, the role of leaks in determining the function of secrecy in international relations. Cameron Edmond for a thesis entitled The Impact of Video Game Interactivity on the Narrative. Lauren Kathleen Fisher for a thesis entitled Between Oneself and the Other, Empathy, Dialogism and Feminist Narratology in Two Novels by Margaret Atwood. Armin Samuel Karamanyan for a thesis entitled Ethnic Identity and Heritage Language Learning for Sydney's Armenian Adolescents. Jessica McIntyre for a thesis entitled From the Rebecca Riots to the Manic Street Preachers, Welsh Cross-Dressing as an Act of Political Defiance. Abhishek Nipal for a thesis entitled Crashing Through the Glass Ceiling, Neoliberal Hegemony and the Repeal of the Glass-Steagall Act. Elke Laura Pierce for a thesis entitled Human Dignity, Useless Rhetoric or Substantive Concept. Melissa Bianca Rooney for a thesis entitled Gender Reshaping Genre in Aurora Lee. Monica Sharp for a thesis entitled A Storm in Her Mind, Representations of female melancholy in Ruse and the Mill on the Floss. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Christy Lee Barber for a thesis entitled Representing Masculinities in Japanese Film and Television. Dr. Séverine Julie Didier, who studied under a co-tutel joint PhD agreement with the University of Nantes in France for a thesis entitled La transmission de l'héritage culturel intangible par la littérature de jeunesse, modélisation sémantico-discursive de chez soi dans le conte Mayano. You've got the expert right in front of you. Dr. Denitsa Filipova for a thesis entitled Civil Society, Advocacy and Participation in Policymaking, a case study of child welfare NGOs in Bulgaria and Serbia. Dr. Yuan Hao for a thesis entitled Robert van Gulik, 1910 to 1967, and his Judge D detective fiction, A Case of Cultural Hybridity. Dr. Seung-Ah Lee for a thesis entitled Representations of Displacement and Liminality as a Form of Social Interrogation in South Korean Literature, Film, and TV Drama. Dr. Xiutao Li for a thesis entitled The Effect of Australian Culture on Complement Responses of Mainland Chinese Speakers of English. Chancellor, that completes this afternoon's presentation of the graduates from the Faculty of Arts.
Chancellor, I now call on Miss Emily Claire Kemamanta, who is graduating today with a Bachelor of Arts, to speak on behalf of the graduating group. Emily Claire.
Chancellor, members of the University, graduates and guests. Here we are. My fellow graduates, this day marks the end of an epoch in each of our lives. We've now officially made it through the intellectual marathon that is tertiary education. Congratulations for venturing into the unknown repeatedly, starting out in a less familiar subject area, getting your head around a new unit convener, or for the first time bemusedly glancing at the assessment tasks that you'll be expected to conquer in the coming 13 weeks. Congratulations for either keeping on top of tasks as they come or suffering the long nights that form the flip side of procrastination. Regardless of strategy, it must have worked because the objective has now been achieved. Here we are. Congratulations for pushing through those inevitable days where things misalign, where the due dates for 2 major essays and a presentation, or perhaps 3 exams, fall on a single day. These are the days where reality outside of uni starts to fall away. Stress levels rise, and the temptation to live exclusively on coffee and various packets found in the pantry becomes almost irresistible. These are the days where our nearest and dearest shine through, with a home-cooked meal, proofreading services, a cup of tea placed within reach of the keyboard, or even just a few words of encouragement, keeping us grounded and reminding us that beyond the 5 p.m. deadline, life goes on. My fellow graduates, we find ourselves faced with a formidable debt. No, not our HECS debts, though the same could be said of those, but rather the debt of time and energy invested into us by those who have played a role in our education, both formal and informal. Our families, our friends, our excellent unit conveners and tutors, past discussion partners who left a mark, among innumerable others. How do we begin to repay this debt? First, we can express our gratitude. Thank you. Thank you, Mum, Dad, Liam, Ashley, the list goes on. Yonna, Declan, Malika, Vicky, on and on and on. Beyond that, we can play our part in the education of others by engaging intellectually or offering support where it's needed. Be kind to others, not just your friends and families. Some do not get the opportunities we have been given, and at the end of the day, is there anything fundamentally that makes us more worthy? I would think not. So, what have we learnt from our explorations within the Faculty of Arts? The value of studying the arts, in the words of Albert Einstein, is not the learning of many facts, but the training of the mind to think something that cannot be learnt from textbooks. The study of the arts is unusual in considering questions of value. By that, I mean questions about how things should be, rather than merely how they are. We've learnt to formulate our own arguments and back them up, examining our perspectives and ourselves along the way. I've learnt that life is complicated, and most issues become ever more complicated under scrutiny. My time at Macquarie University has been one of not only intellectual growth, but also personal change and development. I've rediscovered a joy in learning that got lost somewhere in my adolescence, and for that I'm eternally grateful. My fellow graduates, wherever the road of life takes you, I ask 3 things of you and myself in the future. First, keep learning, in whichever form that takes. There will always be more riddles to solve if you keep an eye out for them. Next, don't let yourself get too comfortable. Keep a critical mindset, questioning your own ingrained beliefs as much as anyone else's, and reaching out to meet people different to you, those you wouldn't otherwise meet. Finally, as appears to have been the theme of the day, never stop striving towards your vision of the perfect world, whatever that is. It may seem futile in a world faced with so many challenges, but we owe it to our fellow human beings to take the strides within our power, small though they may seem. Once again, I'd like to congratulate each of you on reaching the milestones we're celebrating today. It's an incredible honour to be standing here, speaking on your behalf. When I look out at your faces, I feel such unbridled optimism, wondering what each of our futures hold and how snippets of our perfect worlds will come to take form as the years pass. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. I enjoyed your speech very much. It was a very fine speech. Congratulations also on your arts degree. You made a number of points that I think are worth remembering. I'll just pick up on one. And that is, although all of you have worked very hard for your degrees and you deserve credit for it, don't forget the point that Emily made, and that is that you've all been fortunate to be in the position where you can come to a university and get a degree. Not everyone in the world can do that. You've been fortunate to have been born in this era, in this country, most of you, and with your family and your parents. The greatest good luck or bad luck we have in life is our selection of parents. and you've all done very well. So congratulations on a great speech, Emily, Claire, and I hope that we have a long association with you here at Macquarie University. I think she deserves another great round of applause. Well, graduates and ladies and gentlemen, that beautiful voice that we've just heard belongs to Hedda Paisley, I should say. And the Hedda, believe it or not, is one of our own staff. She works here at Macquarie University. And I'm told that everyone who graduates from Macquarie University can sing just as well as Hedda. Please join me in thanking Hedda again for... And we're also very fortunate to have some great musicians. Our trumpeter over there, Melanie McLaughlin. And on the organ, Dr. James Forsyth. And we also have some very special people here who are our alumni volunteers who give up their time and volunteer to come here and make sure that things run smoothly for your graduation. I'm sure you'd like to join with me in thanking them as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen and graduates, as part of this graduation ceremony, we honour a staff member from the Department of Media, Music, Communication and Cultural Studies who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's citation for outstanding contributions to student learning 2015. I now call upon Professor Bruce Doughton, the Vice-Chancellor, to read the citation. Vice-Chancellor.
It gives me great pleasure to invite Dr. Rowan Tulloch to please stand. Chancellor, Dr. Rowan Tulloch is a 2015 winner of the Vice-Chancellor's citation for outstanding contribution to student learning. His work for developing innovative gamified strategies that motivate and engage students by demystifying the academic process and making learning enjoyable. Dr. Rowan Tulloch is a lecturer in digital media and video. His research looks at the technological and cultural logics embodied within practices of interactivity. His work on video gaming explores the pedagogy of video games and the normalising forces used to train and indeed compel players to engage in certain privileged ways in order to construct the intended play experience. Dr. Tulloch has extended these ideas to look at gamification, or how gaming mechanics can be used to train in non-game contexts. His recent research project, The Gamification of Higher Education Teaching Practices, analysed the effectiveness of different models of gamification in the university classroom environment. From this research, he has formulated new frameworks for conceptualising gamification and is developing a software package to assist university staff to better engage their students through simple gamification techniques. Chancellor, I present to you a truly worthy recipient of the Vice-Chancellor's citation for outstanding contribution to student learning, Dr. Rowan Tulloch from the Department of Media, Music, Communication and Cultural Studies.
Well, graduates, this ceremony marks the end of one stage in your relationship with Macquarie University, but it is certainly not the end of your association with Macquarie. From today on, for the rest of your lives, you are part of the bigger Macquarie family, which is our alumni, and part of the network of 167,000 Macquarie alumni spanning the globe. We'll keep in touch with you through our alumni program, which is focused on lifelong learning, lifelong support and lifelong connections. Our commitment to you is to help you keep in touch and engaged with Macquarie throughout your life. And please do make sure that you come back to Macquarie, either to undertake more study, to attend alumni events, use our aquatic and fitness facilities, or even, if the mood takes you, to come back with family and friends to enjoy a picnic by the lake. Graduates, the award of a university degree carries many opportunities and privileges, but like all privileges, it also carries responsibilities. Believe it or not, you, each and every one of you, can change the world. And you don't have to be a Nobel Prize winner to do it either, because almost everything you do, in your homes, in your workplaces, and in your communities matters and can make a huge difference. The consequences of every effort, every action, large or small, can reverberate throughout society, through the decades, indeed the centuries. Even something as simple as a kind word or a kind gesture can often be the spark that ignites a great life or a great career or a great achievement. So as Chancellor of Macquarie University, I charge you to use what you have learned not only for your own benefit, but also for the betterment of the community. I charge you to use the skills and knowledge you have acquired with rigour and integrity, and to commit yourselves to a program of lifelong learning and inquiry. I charge you to recognise the worth and dignity of all people, particularly those who have not had the opportunities that you have enjoyed. I charge you to set high goals and to continue the hard work that has brought you so far. I charge you, wherever you go, go with all your heart. And in all you do, I charge you to uphold the good name of Macquarie University. Now, graduates, I hope also that you'll always remember the people who have helped you along the way, many of whom, of course, are here with you today. So to acknowledge their contribution and thank them for it, I'm now going to ask you to do just a couple of things. Graduates, would you now please stand? Now I want you to put your degrees on the seats behind you so that your hands are free, and I want you to turn around to face your families and your friends. And now I invite you to give them a mighty round of applause. Now, graduates, you can turn around now, but don't sit down because we'll be leaving in a moment. And by the way, you might just pick up your degrees. We wouldn't want anyone leaving one behind. Here on the dais behind me are some representatives of our academic staff who have supported you throughout your journey, and I'm sure you'd like to give them a great round of applause as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, shortly I will lead the official party out through the centre aisle, and then I will invite our newest graduates and all of you to join us for refreshments overlooking the lake. Now, as we process out, the graduates will follow us, and then I would invite all of you to join the academic procession right down to the marquee. I would now invite everyone to please stand, and please remain standing until the last graduate has processed out. Well, graduates, I wish you the very best for the future. And in the words of the old Irish blessing, may the road rise up to meet you. May the wind always be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Graduates, good luck.